Yeah, happy birthday. The beauty that you reflect back to other people is grounding and loving and gorgeous. And I hope your day is as magical as all the stars in the sky and the sun and the moon. I love you. Have a beautiful day.
Hi, Yia. Happy birthday. I love you, and I'm really, really grateful for every experience I had with you in every way that you backed me every time, and like the little subtleties of being a ninja that I got to learn from you. And happy birthday. I love you.
Hey, what's going on? There was this one time I was up in the land. It was the first time it was kind of just like you and me hanging out in a room when there were 180 people there, and there was just like a way that you communicate and like a way that like a space that you provide that like made the adjustments that you were giving me like really easy to listen to and didn't bring up like I wasn't triggered in any way, and it just like let me see them in a way that I was really receptive to, and it was amazing. Thank you.
For my entire time knowing you, you have been someone who I think has really understood this work, and in particular, this piece of how to really be kind to someone. And I feel like you've embodied that with your friends and with men in your life, how to really be kind. And I want to say to you that the past years I've seen you put in so much work, and I truly believe that the next phase of your life is going to be the fruition of all that work. And I love you, and I am super happy to be with you on this path.
There was a moment at my very first members retreat when I was having an Om, and it was really super high, and it was a lot of sensation, and I was sort of like, he wouldn't like stroke down, and I never asked for an adjustment. And there's this beautiful way that you held me and pointed me into the direction of responsibility that I'll never forget. Thank you very much. Happy birthday.
When I think of you, I always think of two things. One is I think of how much you like desserts and how much joy you spread around desserts and how it's always such a pleasure to bring you desserts. And the other thing I think of is just like what a like your bottom line, and like how many times you serve people with your bottom line of like, wait, no, that's not okay, like wake the fuck up or whatever it is. And I'm deeply, deeply grateful for you, and happy birthday, and I love you.
The thing that I love most about you is you have this really effortless joy and turn on that things that like where a whole team might be a little like too messed or confused, or like the exec team being like or a project being kind of like unsure of how to turn it on, and there's just this way that you just come in and you'll just be this really young joy that spreads over the whole thing, that makes everyone remember the joy that's inside of that thing, and in just such an effortless way springs up like a spring tender green from the earth, and everyone suddenly is really happy about it, and everyone gets really excited to tend to it, and it's just like one of the sweetest and most inspiring to me parts of how your orgasm really comes out into a space.
It's a little windy out here, so I hope the sound is okay. Your brilliance, I see that every day. Like it's hard not to see it. It's just like pretty much in everything you do. But I remember it was a couple, maybe like last week, might have been last week or like the week before, where you were looking for sort of like a way to make Nick's room and Nick's closet feel better. And you went in, and then I went in after you, and I looked, and the door was taken off the hinges and taken out of the house for the closet, inside the closet in Nick's cabin. And I was like, look at this so-and-so here. Like, I would have never, ever thought to do that. Like, my thought would be like, you keep the door closed and, you know, just make sure it's tidy in there and it'll feel clean. It felt clean to me. But you took the door off the hinges and took it out, and it just opened up the space, but it actually made it feel good and clean and tidy too. It was insane. So that was just like one moment of brilliance that like stuck out in my head, and it's just like the stuff that like Yia would think to do that would just make the space feel better, and like the energy to get into it and get out of it more efficient.
Happy birthday, Yia. I want to share a moment with you from CP9 when you shared that story about your name and reclaiming it and what it means in the Lao language. There was a way in that room that your vulnerability and openness to share just like penetrated into me, and I think into everyone else in that room, and it brought me to tears, and it was just like such a beautiful thing to feel somebody open themselves that much. And I wanted to say thank you for that, and happy birthday.
There's so many times that I've had the opportunity and really the privilege to see your brilliance come out, and so I'm so happy to celebrate your birthday today. I can just think back over my journey in orgasm, and I remember the first time we sat together at that Starbucks on Lincoln, and we had this whole conversation around jealousy and curriculum and men and just different things, and I could tell from that very moment the kinds of questions that you were asking me, the way that you were paying attention to me. I was like, oh, I learned a lot about the attention that is required when you're really wanting to be intimate, connect, and bring out the brilliance in another person. And I felt listened to you in that moment, and I've seen the way that with me that you have just been unyielding in terms of me coming all the way out, like nothing but full out will do. And I just greatly appreciate you for that and celebrate you on this day.
The moment I remember is the first magic school. Nicole had you come up onto the stage and give you acknowledgement for putting it on, and you were dancing around and curtsying in this floral dress and just smiling and laughing, and everybody was cheering. And it was just this like lightness and play and femininity, but underneath it was this like hardcore badass person that managed to pull off this like crazy ridiculous course that had never been done before.
Hello, Yia. Beautiful birthday girl. I have messages of love for you from San Diego, and here they go.
Hey, beautiful Yia. I want to share a memory that I have of you when we were at the Women's Step Work Intensive, and you were sitting on the couch, and it was a food break, and we had this moment with each other, and you were so soft and so surrendered and like super vulnerable and opened. And I remember in that moment there was just like this feeling of sister, and there always has been, but it just like dropped in at a whole new level, and I'm deeply grateful that you allowed me to be there in that moment with you. I love you. Happy birthday.
Hello, beautiful woman. I love you. Happy birthday. I remembered on my birthday, oh gosh, it was a couple of birthdays ago, where we were at 7th Street, and you picked me to love you up for a month, and I just loved that so much. I'm so grateful for your love and compassion, and love you much.
Happy birthday, Yia, and it's just always a privilege and beautiful to be in your presence, like wherever you are, and have the most delicious day today.
Happy birthday, Yia. I am grateful for how you transmit the teachings of the lineage, and I always am grateful to be in the grace of your presence. So I wish you a happy, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Yia, and thank you for holding me and holding everyone, and your teaching and your playfulness, and gently bringing me out, and I appreciate everything you do and for being here for us. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Yia. I remember, it's not even quite a year ago, we met in Nicole's living room on what we used to call Sacred Tuesday nights. And one of those Tuesday nights, you came over close to me, sat on the couch, remember? And you offered me the gift of your tears. And it was so moving, honey, that it transformed me for every drop that fell from your face, from your chin, into your lap. Transformed all of us that day, and I thank you for the gift of your transformation. You allowed spiritual rain to happen in that living room, and one taste has never been the same since. Happy birthday. Happy Appearance Day.
So from all of us here, Yia, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Yia!
I felt so touched and so grateful when we were at the members retreat on the land, and you really recognized me and you said, I'm going to peek you right there. And you told everyone, you know, Santa does this because that's what she was trained to do. But really, there's something there where she can live in joy. So I'm grateful for that moment, and I really, for the moment that we had a chance to check in with each other after that. It meant a lot to me, and it's been an anchor point for me ever since. Thanks a lot. Happy birthday.
There was a moment at Immersion 3 of CP12 where I was in a down and crying all weekend and trying to hide the tears. And while you were teaching, my head was down and I heard you say, I love you, Stacy. In that moment, I felt seen and loved and approved of in such a vulnerable spot. Thank you for having my back. Happy birthday.
I truly appreciate the time and the affection and the attention that you show me. I guess the biggest thing was coming into terms with what my range is and having this conversation with you where I felt that you really saw me and in such a beautiful way reminded myself where my range is. And it was confronting. I remember feeling like, you don't know me. But I sunk with it for about a month, and I'm so happy that I had that conversation with you when you said that I wasn't actually ready for the lineage program, and it took me until now, right, to actually feel myself more in that spot, to understand what my range is, and to know that that my relationship with you is coming from a place of actual sincere honesty, and I'm just super grateful to have that with you. Happy birthday.
There was a moment you were teaching about tumescent types, and you used Rachel Sherritt's and Eli Block as an example of how they're you being fixed and Rachel being hypervolatile and relating better to Eli in a certain way, and how it works with you and what it looks like. I can't even remember specifically what you said, but it had me get that everyone's flavor of orgasm is accepted here, and it had me have so much more approval for that I didn't need to fit a certain mold in order to be able to have orgasm flow through me. I could have orgasm and still be who I was and still discover who I was. I didn't have to try and be anyone else. It gave me so much appreciation that you did it the way that you did it. You do everything the way that is you. And I really appreciate and love you.
Yeah, there was a moment when from the stage I noticed your microphone had dropped a little bit, and I just made this teeny gesture with my hand, and in half a second you corrected your microphone, and you just kept flowing and teaching the whole class, and it just had me feel totally seen, and also such an appreciation for the nuance of your teaching and the flow that you're in when you teach.
Yeah, I just love the way that you transmit your joy up on stage, the way that you smile and you radiate this clear love and passion for what you're doing. I can feel it and I can see it so clearly, especially in your beautiful smile.
Hi, Yia. Happy birthday. I just wanted to reflect the time when you were telling a story about you and a known partner and how he said to you, as you said, I hate you. And his reflection was, "Are you flirting with me?" That gave me a lot of permission to just play, and I thought that was excellent. So happy birthday, I hope you have a great one.
I remember when I first started CP12 and you first stepped on stage and didn't know who you were, and I just saw this powerhouse of a woman with so much confidence walk onto that stage. I was in awe, and I thought, I want to be like her. So I love what you've shared with us, I love what you've given to us, and I wish you a very happy birthday.
There was a moment last week at the land meeting, and we were sitting outside, and we were talking about the orgasm that created the land. And you started crying, and it was like a flood of transmission into the group. It was like a transmission of pure Yia, which is like pure devotion. And when I felt it, I saw you, and I love that.
Happy birthday, Yia.
Happy birthday, Yia.
There was a moment when we were at the February intensive and we were doing the ritual, and I remember like I walked up to the curtain and there were two people there, and they like paused and parted it, and I just like felt the sense like I was literally walking into your orgasm, and I could feel every part of the room. It was like really potent and rich and like also cutting in some way, and I got in and it felt like you created a space for like all the priestesses to come out fully, and I saw you and you were just standing there and you were completely still, but I could just like feel that ferocity and that dom and that like assertiveness in there, and it was vibrating, and I was just like, fuck, I want to be here forever. I just want to stay in this room.
And then I've been in so many scenes with you. The thing that comes to mind right now is like how lovingly you would clean me up the first time I was in LA. There was like a particular person that I was struggling with a lot, and you would clean me up all the time from it, and you would like walk me through the same thing every time until I came to the same realization every time, and you were like super patient but like kind of funny with me about it, and just like this way that you show up in this game like so consistently, and like even when you're angry or even when you're like, you know, like fighting it or something like that, like there's just this place where you're so fucking solid, and like I can always reach out and feel you in the system. And I actually wrote this thing for you for your birthday. So you're the builder of the temple and the magical guardian at every one of its gates. Your guardianship is understated. There's nothing overtly fierce or showy in how you hold the temple. There's a sense like you've worn many faces over many millennia and held many roles, and yet this is the only place you've ever stood and the only game you've ever played and the only game there is. So we love you a lot and wish you a very happy birthday, and I can't wait to see you again in person.
Happy birthday. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.
There have been a couple moments in the last few days where I've seen you handle production, and you're like generous, and like you allow for us as men to like come out and to serve, and it feels like grounded and dominant, and I really love that part of you, and I want to see more of that from you in this year, and I'm looking forward to continuing our own connection. Happy birthday and lots of love. All right, bye.
There was a moment when I just saw you sitting up on, it was like the first time I saw you. You were sitting up on the seat, and then your legs were spread and your hands were on your knees, and you were just sitting there very upright and powerful, and I was like, damn.
You're amazing. You're an amazing teacher. I love your specificity in your teaching and your heart. And there was a moment when you gave me an adjustment when I did back of house. I think it was a month ago, about putting on lemon juice on cut apples, and I felt so taken care of in that moment, that you explained really precisely why that lemon juice needs to be on apples, and there was just so much love in that explanation, and I really took that in, and I hope I'll get more of those teachings from you. Thank you.
There was a moment at the members retreat when you shared about your experience with not pulling for climax, and there were several times at that retreat where you shared different just excerpts from your own life and your own practice and research, and it was so helpful to hear your stories. Like, and when you said to Rob and I that, you know, like, I needed I needed a purpose and or you suggested that he needs to be run harder. I don't know. You said a bunch of things that were very helpful, enlightening. Thank you so much for all you do for One Taste. You're amazing. I know that you do so much behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, and we're all just, I'm so grateful for everything you do to help this incredible machine run, feminine machine. Happy birthday.
So, yeah, the first big memory I have of you is from like October 2015 doing Taboo. I was so new. It was the first big class after ITO for me. And we were doing some crazy thing with our heart chakras. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, and you come down and you sit next to me and you're like, Melissa, how you doing? And I said, I'm a bit punchy, so I'm just going to sit here. And you laughed at my joke and you sat with me. It was beautiful, and it really made me feel welcome and part of the community. So, happy birthday, Yia. I love you.
Yeah, there was a moment in the last immersion that you were so fierce with me at the back of the room when we were doing 4-step work, and I could not charm you out of it. And it just really got me to my core.
Hey, Yia, it's Kevin. I remember when I first met you out there on the land not too long ago, and you came right up to me. I didn't know what was going on. You said hello, you introduced yourself, you said hi, and you asked me how it was going on the land, and it was just so much warmth coming from you. And it really made me feel at home. It was a special moment. Thank you and happy birthday.
There was a moment while you were teaching back at house trading, just before CP, that it was just really obvious how excited and passionate you are about everything we do and all the different places that it can show up. And it inspired me to do more service. Thank you.
Hi, thank you very much for feeling my desire and allowing me to come on stage and talk to everyone. And that was really special, and I really appreciate that. A special moment in my CP. Thank you.
Thanks for the FedEx UPS example. I never got stroked so much because I got the wrong answer about 10 women I talked to. And I sure learned a lot from that example. They finally got me down to the right answer. Thanks a lot.
I remember this moment when you were sitting on the stage at Magic School and you were describing, your magical power. And I remember you were saying that you put your magical power when you fill up a teacher's glass, 3/4 and no more and no less than that, because if it's more than that, when you drink, you spill it. And if it's less than that, it doesn't feel like it's full enough. Or, the way that you position a cup with the handle, on the right, where the hand of somebody who's gonna take it will go for. And so, and at that point, I really got what it means to have a full attention out, and to which level of attention I had to grow in order to hold people and hold experiences for others. And it was a gift, and that's what I've learned to grow more as a leader. And that explanation of what it's like to put attention on people will always stay inside of me. And I've put it in practice. And every time I adjust a cup or I fill a glass of water, I feel like some of Yia's magic is coming through me. So I'm deeply grateful. Thank you. I love you.
Yeah, there was a moment when we did a production meeting on the mastery, and this was the first time when you were training Lubka for a mastery, and you went through like all of the details of the hall for whole course, and I saw you how clear and how detailed you are. Not only that, you did that with with so much smoothness. Like, really, from you, I'm learning how to handle logistics with a lot of orgasm. I used to have that separate, all logistics or orgasm, and with you for the first time, I really seen it and felt it, how to have both logistics and orgasm, and how to feel logistics with orgasm, and that was always inspiring for me. Thank you.
There was a moment in my shaman intensive when we were going through the ritual, the piercing ritual with Shakir and Madame Cleo, and there was a moment that you held the back of the room, and in such a way that I could feel your whole shaman come out, and your centuries of witches come out, and it had me feel so held that I could drop down layers and layers more, and actually feel the depth of the knowledge that you have running through your system. And it was really a beautiful, beautiful moment for me to witness that and for me to feel you there. So I hope you have an amazing birthday, and I'm really looking forward to doing this program more with you. Lots of love. Bye.
I remember the first time I really spoke to you was at 1080 when I was doing CP6, and you gave me a stroke which completely changed how I looked at my relationships to women. And I remember just like the way you looked at me, and like it was like you were looking into my soul, and just said this brief thing, and it was so potent, and it came from total approval. And I've seen you since then, throughout these years, coming onto the stage or in any interaction, just how much turn on, how much approval and sight you bring. It is such an inspiration to me, and a great example of how to live a turn on life. I'm so grateful that I'm your friend, and I love you very much. Have an amazing birthday. Bye.
I just want to say how you're just like this really amazing, beautiful, warm, sexy, smart presence, and I see you.
There was a moment when I first saw you up on stage where I could see this like beauty and grace and like a majestic nature that you have, and I could also see the fixed in you, and it was just like a lovely combination. And to see you bring your turn on in an authentic way just felt so powerful and so beautiful, and thank you for being you.
I remember a moment in class a few months ago when you talked about how your path to become a teacher was a long, slow one. It involved working in production and learning everything inside and out before you got the opportunity to be up on the stage. And I resonated with that a lot, and I felt inspired because I haven't felt like I've been on the fast track to do what you do, but I know I can do it someday, and I want to follow in your footsteps, and thank you for inspiring me.
One of the most amazing things that I have learned from watching you and knowing you and being a friend and sister on the path is the way that you hold the success of the people around you, and you do it with both men and women, and I really notice like how much you lift up the women around you, and how much anybody that's working with you gets to feel as they walk away like how brilliant they are. I've had so many occasions where I was like, I have to handle all this stuff and I'm freaking out because I'm hypervolatile, and you were like, make it happen, magic, let's do it, and you just like added this level of energy and also clarity to anything I was doing. And I could be like, no, yeah, we really need to panic about this one, and you'd be like, okay, well, it's fine, you're gonna do it and it's gonna be fine. And just this like faith, and I watch you have that faith in yourself, and that you live that truly. And so that example is incredible, and I'm grateful to walk the path with you.
There was a moment early on, I think in immersion 1 or 2, when I listened to you give a stroke to Tarasha, who had expressed something about shame around her Asian woman conditioning, and I just felt so much love and wisdom in your stroke, and I started tearing up. And I'm just very glad to have somebody who's in the Asian heritage in this practice.
I wanted to share a moment that comes to mind. It was at the member retreat on the land last month, and Ellie was sharing about how she can't seem to keep a research project or like be okay with her own research project because everyone's that she hears, she just like wants to do that one instead. And you were just so playful with her, and there was a way where the way that you played with her, it really got the thing across. You just kept saying like, oh, well, there was this one time I did this research project where I didn't climax for 30 days. And you just kept sharing research projects, and it was just such a beautiful way to show, to like give the transmission of the thing that you were wanting to say to her in a very playful and humorous way. And the whole room just had so much fun with it. And I remember that moment dearly. So I appreciate you so much as a mentor and a teacher, and also a sister on this path. And I love you. Happy birthday.
Yeah, there was a moment when you shared on stage here at CP12 about how you faked your frames for the first very long time when you were oming, and I love that you gave permission to all of us to get messy and not get it right, and to like share that part of ourselves with everyone. So thank you.
I remember when I was in CP9, and I would always know what finger polish color you had on your toes and your fingernails, because I had that much attention on you.
That's really intense.
Yeah, I know, it's a lot.
Happy birthday. Well, I know we bond over Asian things, but that's kind of last year. So what's this year? I'm really glad you're living on the land. That feels great. I like seeing you in pictures. And it's also fun to have you at CP. We miss you this weekend. And I hope you're having an amazing time on the land for your birthday. And well, I guess my most salient memory of you is one time you were teaching, I think it was CP9, and they went out to do the exercise in the Tenderloin and in the marina, and then you cried talking about the kind of connection that's available like in the underground network in the Tenderloin, and how much that means to you and how much we get from that field. And I was deeply touched.
I remember that too.
Yeah.
I love living with you. I like getting to know you more. Bye, Yia.
I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate your honesty and your vulnerability and your humbleness. One of my favorite things is when you tell us stories about ways in which you've caught your story, and ways in which that you see your stories. It's really inspiring to me, and I just really appreciate you so much.
Hey, happy birthday. There's a moment I want to share with you that reminds me of you, and when you just gave of yourself so deeply. For me and Natasha in Austin, actually, we were both a little tight, and you took us to a bakery, and you said, we got to get desserts. So we went and we got all these desserts, and we worked there, and it just like made us laugh and loosened us up, and it was so silly, and it was like, we can't have all this while we're so tight and brah. But you just held that pole of joy and generosity, what was really needed. So thank you for that, and for your skill and the love that you brought to my life and to the team.
I remember when you came to Austin, and I love your love for food. Like, I love your appetite and your generosity. And I remember how you would order like a lot of Mexican food, a lot of dessert, and you would take me and Matthew with you and like the whole team, and you would just like share from this really joyous place your love for food. And it was like one of the first times that I felt a sisterhood between me and a woman on this path, like you sharing your clothes with me, sharing your food. I just felt you from this really beautiful place of generosity, and I'm really grateful for that. Thank you.
Yeah, there was a moment at ACP when you were telling your story about telling Nicole that you wanted to teach and be in front of the room, and that it was like another, I think it was 3 years before you actually got to do it, and the whole time you were head of production. And I just like, I felt like so much inspiration and permission to just keep following my path. And like, no matter how I think it should look, just like keep following it. And then it just reminded me how much work you've actually done to get to where you are, and it's inspiring. So thank you. Happy birthday.
So there was this moment when I heard you were coming to Texas, and Allie was just like screaming your praises. And then you were here, and I didn't actually even get to meet you, but then I got to meet you at CP, and like, it felt so good to like just connect with you and actually like feel like the wonderful person that you are. Happy birthday.
One of the things I love about you is that I know that I can either text you or call you, and even I could be having the most sort of panic-ridden spin cycle that I'm in. You always know how to handle me with love and so much penetration that I never feel judged for where I'm at, and I so quickly like feel your love and care in anything that you would say, and it always has me like feel safe to be around you and to be myself, and to know that like you see the woman that I am and the woman that I'm becoming, and that you always hold that vision of me even when I forget. And I love you so much, and I'm so happy that you're my sister.
Yeah, there was this moment when we finished the Women's Intensive in LA, and we went to the staff house to record the members call, and we were all sat together on the bed, and it felt great to have you there because it was just like girls together, just, you know, having fun, having a laugh, and it was great to feel you so close, to be connected with you in this way. It was, yeah, it was really good fun.
It's Christine. I wanted to wish you, an amazing happy birthday. I was just sharing the moment on the land where you were driving that crazy Jeep in the January intensive, and we were laughing and giggling, and I hope that your day is bright and beautiful and full of laughter as it was at that particular moment. Happy birthday to you, sending you much love.
We are out in front of the new beehives here at the land, which I'm sure you'll see. So we have bees flying all around us.
Just for you. I'm scared shitless, and Cora wanted to be near the bees to give you a little extra juice.
Yeah, so we're having fun. And yeah, we want to say that we love you, and the like the smooth, penetrating flavor that you bring.
And I'd like to say I cannot like stop giggling and enjoying when I see you and RC like poking at each other and playing during dinner. It was like 15 minutes for your meeting, and it's so good to see someone get in there like that.
Yeah, and I want to say that when I first came up to the land, and I was walking across the land with Reverend Joanne, and we came across you, and she was like, "Wow, you're really glowing. I've just been noticing how you've been glowing up here," and like I've just been noticing after that you've been glowing more than I had seen you glow before, and it's really beautiful and amazing to see you in this new thing, creating new things up here, and to get to come up here again and again and be part of it.
All right, happy birthday. Good to see you. Bye.
Hi, Yia. Happy birthday. I wanted to tell you about a moment where I saw your brilliance, which is when you were cooking at Still Point, and I came over and you were there making something awesome. But really what I remember is how you felt and how great the house felt. You had like poured your entire system all over the house, and it felt nourishing and bright, but rich and alive and full of love. And I just wanted to tell you about how meaningful that moment was for me, to feel you and how good you felt and how connected I felt to you, and how much I wanted to be connected to you more. So happy birthday, and I hope you had a wonderful day.
Hi, happy birthday, Yia. It's Joey. I remember that time 3 or 4 years ago in Mastery where you went through the orgasm map. It was awesome. It was a Saturday, and it was an experience I'll never forget. And how you held the class together was awesome. Thanks again, and have a great birthday and a great year. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, it's been incredible getting to know you over the coaching program. I have to say that I absolutely adore your style of just being direct, honest, and to the point with what you're transmitting, and it makes me feel very confident and capable. Thank you for sharing that.
At the members retreat last summer, and we were in the opening circle, and I can't remember what I said, but you basically were like, you reflected back to me like, you want to be inappropriate. And I was like, oh no, I don't. No, that's not what I mean. And there was like a way where you basically knew exactly what I wanted, and you named it and stroked it out, and that was my first experience of like actually like the essence of something I really wanted to open up. And I had so much fun that weekend, and I just like, it was so endearing to me to receive your strokes that weekend. Anyways, I love you. I appreciate you so much, and I celebrate you. Happy birthday, Yia.
You were my first member coach, and I don't think I realized at the time how special that was. And I was really like a beginner in a lot of ways, and you held me so beautifully through those early moments in my oming, and with keeping up with Kara, and I just see your range and how much love and approval you have on the whole spectrum.
And you married us, and it was the best wedding ever.
Yes.
Hi, Yia. There was a moment at my first intensive where I was really upset, and you came and you gave me a cuddle, and you didn't even really say very much, but you were just kind of like were curious and had a lot of joy and levity. And by the end, I think it was like maybe 10 minutes. By the end, I got up and I was happy, and I just had this sense of like the power and the joy that you have, and like how you really just touched my life in that moment.
Hi, Yia. Whenever you come to LA and I get to like hang out with you, some of my favorite moments are just getting to hang out with you and just like be quiet next to you. I feel a lot of love just being next to you, and like I'm hanging out with an oracle. And I really appreciate the behind the scenes that you do for One Taste, and I love you a lot.
Hi, Yia, it's Nancy. I just want you to know you've had a huge impact on my life. I love our connection, and I love the sisterhood path, and I've enjoyed working on content for classes with you, but it's really that I like being connected with you really deeply. You've just made such a difference in my life. I love you so much.
There was a moment when I just saw Yia come all the way out. It was in January at the ACP, and you were up on stage and you were checking in with students, and you were just like open and hilarious, and you know, stroking people in the way that you stroke people, which is just like really honest, truthful, and hexing, with just a brilliant smile on your face and a lot of laughter, and people are like, what? And just like also deeply seen. And I feel like that's Yia to a T. And so happy birthday. I love you so much. Mwah!
I keep thinking about when you first came to Austin to work with us, and we sat down around the table, and you just pretty much like shuffled around everyone's roles. You like gave everyone a new role, and in giving them a new role, like saw each of us so brilliantly and gave us this beautiful reflection. And having known us for barely any time at all. And to me, that's like the precision of your sight.
That's right. And there was a moment that I was freaking out about something, and you took me into one of the back rooms, one of the coaching rooms, and you started stroking me. And I was giving you all this like nonsense, and then you were like, I'm gonna talk to another part of you. We talked to your victim, we talked to this part of you, now I'm gonna talk to your master. And you just like looked at me with so much like sureness, and like all of just like the fog just dropped away. And that was a moment I saw just like your master come out to call out my master. And I'm very grateful for you, and just like all your teaching, all your sight, and all your love. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I love you.
Bye.
Hi, Yia. So the thing I want to say is I love, especially when I was in LA and I would be leading turn-ons, and you would show up and you'd be in the audience, and it was like you hadn't been a turn-on for a while, and like I just always knew you were gonna like knock somebody out like super skillfully. And so like I just got to like, it's just a place where like I got to see your talents and your sight and your like just obscenely good stroking ability come out. And that's one of my favorite places to see you, is when you're like no one quite knows who you are in a room, but you're like super deadly, and it wakes up people's feeling of like, oh, there's really something in this work, and they didn't see it coming. And it's like very not flashy, but always true and always beautiful. And I love you, and happy birthday.
I remember when I went to London, and we were both you were in California and I went to London, and so you came back to New York, and you gave me a call, and you were like, I'm cleaning out your closet and all of these different things, and you threw out the backpack that I loved, but it was right to let it go, and you said, good, your soul should feel clearer and cleaner now. And it did. And that's always to me, like, I'll be like, oh, could you work on the calendar? And you just do the calendar, and then the whole system feels good and clean. And it's just like, you just kind of like go in and you readjust things, like you move these lines here and those lines there, or you clean out someone's purse, or you clean out underneath my bed, or you clean out my mind, or you make food, and like sometimes you'll like take all the leftovers from the kitchen, and just like make this beautiful feast, and it's like and it's delicious, and you make things make sense. I remember once at 1080 you were eating this meal, and you were like, it doesn't make sense. It was like shrimp and then things, and it's like when you work on something and you touch it and your soul touches it, everything makes sense. And I breathe in a different way, and the whole system just like breathes in its own way. I love you.